What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Morten Harket at long last. I do apologize. The peripheral deep dives to the Aha main deep dive, which is to say Morten Harket, Savoy, and Mags, or Magna F, they have fallen off by the wayside a little bit. I do apologize. Fallen off by the wayside? I think I mixed my metaphors there. Nevertheless, I am trying to get back to everything, including any deep dives that have been a bit too long since the last time we visited them. So again, I'm going to try to get back on a more regular schedule with Morten, Savoy, and Mags, or Magna F. And yeah, we're going to start with another tune from Morten's 1993 Norwegian album, Poetennis Evangelium. I imagine it's Evangelium. But yeah, I'm not sure on the pronunciation in Norwegian. Nevertheless, I have enjoyed this album, even if I don't have the same insight into the lyrics that I do when going through the Aha albums, not only because I can't understand most of it in the moment. Every once in a while there's like a phrase where it's like, okay, I heard that name, so we're talking about this individual and so on. But yeah, by and large, it is just trying to understand themes through sonics, themes through atmosphere, and then waiting for Carrie, among others, perhaps, to talk about the meanings of the tunes. I have noticed a heavy religious, like Christian flavor on the album. It does seem to be about a number of aspects of Morten's faith and his understandings of scriptural narratives and so on. And indeed, this tune, translated into English, so that I do not, hurt your ears and so I can spare my own blushes, but it's Elisabeth Sings at the Death of John the Baptist. So, John the Baptist, very significant figure, like scripturally, obviously. Jesus being baptized by John the Baptist is considered a sort of landmark moment in the Jesus, the Christos narrative. So yeah, his death, I imagine, is seen with great significance in a number of different Christian traditions. So yeah, ultimately, I don't know who Elisabeth is. I don't remember the specific narrative of John the Baptist well enough to remember who this Elisabeth is. And, again, surnames, generally speaking, are like a modern thing. For many centuries and millennia, people basically had given names, and then it was either where they lived or the occupation they fulfilled. Indeed, my last name is Snyder, which is a anglicized version of Schneider, the German word, which means tailor. So obviously my ancestors made clothes at some point. So yeah, perhaps this Elisabeth does not actually have a surname. But the point is I don't know who this is within the scriptural narrative. So, but I imagine it'll be lamentative. I imagine it will be mournful, sorrowful, perhaps in a way, light, as if, a bird or a spirit leaving the body, the idea of a sort of a beautiful ascent. But if I were to guess, I would feel it's likely more lamentative. So let's find out. This is Morten Harket with a tune that translated into English means Elisabeth Sings at the Death of John the Baptist from the 1993 album Poetennis Evangelium. I always like wait for the first bass hit just so I can make sure it's not like redlining. That was a big bass hit.
Tjene ham her nede, kom hel og nyfødt til vårt stille hjem. De la deg til mitt bryst, svøpt inn i klæder. Du vokste opp, var aldri ond og slem. Så ulik andre barn, jeg kunne se det, men jeg ønsket at du var som en av dem. Så dro du for lyset gjorde ren, så jorden var rede for den mann som skulle komme. Han kom til døde, der var karet over.
The tone is more mixed. It feels, in a way, lighter than I expected, but still heavy and mournful. And who knows, given the specifics of the lyrics, that might be on some level the desired atmosphere. But the personal nature of these songs comes through. And not just on this Norwegian album, on the English stuff I've been going through from his solo material too. Bit of a haunting end. Yeah, really cool tune. Again, not knowing any Norwegian, my best guess is that this is a sort of a mood piece, which I guess narratively is immediately following his death, and therefore, might be when he's being interred or, laid to rest in a sort of formal sense, or it could just be the idea of a certain person, wailing and singing, being emotionally despondent in the wake of such a significant figure passing away. Though again, perhaps the idea of his ascent, which, depending on which denomination, I know I think some denominations think that no one was able to ascend to the kingdom of heaven until Christ went through his ordeal. I think others take a different position. I don't get into those things on this channel. I will just say that, yeah, it feels like it's lamentative and yet still, sort of celebratory in terms of the idea of his spirit ascending. So, in any case, a very personal performance once again. Like I said, I've been feeling that in all his solo songs, and not just the Norwegian ones, as I said, but as well as the English material. And plenty more of that to go through. Indeed, I think there's some English material that's like earlier where, I've jumped ahead to Letter from Egypt, which I think is 2008. But my understanding is I may have skipped some stuff that exists prior, so I'll make sure to get through everything eventually. I think I'll keep going through the albums that I'm currently going through, which is to say Letter from Egypt, Potentis Evangelium, and is there another one? I think it's just those two currently. So I'll get to the end of those two, and then, we'll go on to the next Norwegian album and to the next English album, even if that means jumping back in time. Or, maybe it's an EP. I'm not sure. I forget who it was. Someone had sent me an email about this and just making sure that, hey, there's actually some earlier Morten stuff that I don't think you've gotten to. So I'll search through everything. I'm getting a lot of emails these days. It is getting a bit harder to keep everything in the front view screen, but I will do my best. And indeed, whether it's Morten or anybody else, if there's some deep dive that I haven't given attention to in a while, if there seems to be something that someone asked me and I forgot, just let me know. I'll do whatever I can to get to it as quickly as possible. Basically, there's only so much room up in this brain, although I shouldn't say that because that's not really how your brain works. It's not like storage, like filing cabinets. It's like fire, and you can like rekindle thoughts and experiences if you have electrochemical synaptic connections that are happening in the same area. So basically, my dad is a neurologist, so sometimes when I say things, I feel like, oh wait, no, he would sort of shake his head at me for having said it that way. And our brains indeed are not storage cabinets, but they're sort of like fired essentially. Whatever, that's not relevant. The point is, if there is anything that I haven't gotten to in a while, just let me know and I'll do what I can to get to it as quickly as possible. In any case, shout out to all the Morten fans, shout out to all the AHA people, shout out to everyone who's a friend of the channel, and I will see you next time. Peace.